everybody. Paul Piper here in the studio. I want to welcome you to our podcast, and we have a lot of great things to talk about tonight. The reason why I do our podcast is to raise awareness both in the local music scene as well as the international and national music scene. We have a lot of great things coming up. We have a very special guest on the show with us today, and none other than Gary P. Nunn with me, who has been performing for people all over. Now, he has also written some great songs that have hit charts all around. He has worked and shared the stage with great artists such as Rusty Weir, Jerry Jeff Walker, Willie Nelson, Michael Martin Murphey, David Allen Coe, Roseanne Cash, and many more. He's also appeared on many programs such as Nashville Now, Nashville's Network, Texas Connection, TNN, and Austin City Limits. And folks, what I'd like to do now is I want to welcome to the show Gary P. Nunn. Gary, how are you?
Doing well this afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being on the show. And how did you get your start in the music industry?
Well, since I was just a small child, I've always been attracted to music. In my early life, church, sang a couple of times when I was a young kid. And when we moved to Brownfield, Texas in 1957, when I was in the 8th grade there, we had a band there in Brownfield called the Emeralds, and they were a 4-piece guitar band and lived right down the road from the fellow that I got started with. And we'd go over there and watch them rehearse, and they tolerated us being around. And they wrote a song for us, and we formed a little band and performed at the Lions Club Junior High Talent Show that year. And we ended up winning the show, and all of our classmates went crazy, and the girls went crazy. So I thought right there is where I want to be.
That sounds great. Sounds
So
like a plan.
we played in that little band there all during high school for teen dances and around in the West Texas, Lubbock area. And when I went to college, I entered it at Texas Tech and played in a few bands there. And got in a band, it's the hottest band in West Texas called the Sparkles. And we traveled all over the state, and we were one of the hottest bands in Texas at that time, and regional bands, that is. And so played up there through 1967 and ended up coming to Austin and entering University of Texas, and got in a band there, and as soon as I could, and before long I was playing with the best band in town called the Lavin Hill Express. Rusty Weir was the leader of that band, and so played on up through there in 1970 or so, and a fellow named Michael Martin Murphey came to town, and I was getting ready to kind of give up the music business and go back to Oklahoma to our ranch back up there. And but I stayed over a couple extra days because I wanted to see Michael Murphy. So that's when I met Michael. He walked off the stage at after the first set over there at the Saxon Pub, and I was really impressed by his show. And he walked straight up to me and said, "I've heard a lot about you. How would you like to play bass in my band?" So that's how I got started in the songwriting, recording business, and touring nationwide. And Michael was a great mentor for me, and taught me a lot about the music business. And so I just followed my one gig after another, and got me to this point.
Awesome. Yeah, Murph, as we always call him. We call him Murph, right? Very good guy. I've been working with him for 7 years now, so I can definitely see what you're talking about. He's a very nice guy, very giving, really fun to work with too. And I can't wait to be with y'all on September the 7th and 8th. We're performing the 7th and 8th. And I think you said you're coming in on the 6th, right?
Right. We're doing the VIP and the sponsors opening night party there on the 6th. That's a Wednesday night.
Oh, okay. See, are you going to be performing all 3 days? I guess, or however many days it is. That every?
No, we're just doing the one night.
Okay. Okay.
Doing the one night. I've been up there for I guess every one, including the first one of the barn dances. Not every one. There was a few that I missed, but Michael has grown that event to sell out every year proportions, and
Absolutely.
it's one of the best festivals in the country. Of course, being in Taos in September it's beautiful weather, cool nights, and warm days. And so
Yeah.
we always look. Michael's a dear friend, and so we always look forward to going up there for that event.
Right. And I'm so looking forward too. I can't wait to get out of these hot Texas summers here.
Oh,
But yeah, and Taos is a beautiful place. I love the weather. I love the atmosphere. It's just real laid back, you know. But looking forward to that, and hopefully, if I'm in town, I'll look you up and, hey, you know. But
absolutely.
So I understand you've done some recording with Michael Martin Murphey. Can you tell me some of the records that y'all worked together on?
We did he had been to Nashville and recorded. He and Bob Livingston had recorded some
Bob's
demos
a great guy. Yeah,
for Bob Johnston, and that was they had just gotten back from that when he came to Austin, and I met him and he offered me the job. So we went back to Nashville and finished up Geronimo's Cadillac, and Bob Johnston was a very heavy duty producer, had a lot of influence in the music business. And so he was getting the first class record company treatment. And we went to LA and did a debut showcase thing at the Whiskey A Go Go. And they were booking us all over the East Coast and all around. So it was a big jump for me to be able to get on the road and tour nationwide with him.
Very good, very good. How often would you say you tour? Do you get on the road much like you used to?
Well, we'd go out for probably a couple of weeks at a time, and then come back and then play right here in Austin. We were building. I say he was building up a big following.
Yeah.
Here, there's a room called the Castle Creek. Tim O'Connor, who worked with Willie Nelson for many years.
Oh yeah.
Came down from Colorado and opened up this club called Castle Creek, and he really upgraded the quality of musicians. So he's bringing in Leo Kottke and John Hartford and the Doobie Brothers and all sorts of big name acts. Wasn't long before we got a call from Eddie Wilson at the Armadillo World Headquarters, and he offered us play at the Armadillo. So that was a big step up as well. And then we made the Cosmic Cowboy record, and just kept on touring there up until about, let's see, when was it? It was what would have been in 1973.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of fun. Now you mentioned the Armadillo, and I think one of the songs, "Home of the Armadillo," is that you wrote that, right?
Well, wrote the
Home of the
Armadillo song.
Yeah, isn't that the one that?
Yeah. Well, I should have mentioned that early that spring of '73, Michael got signed with the EMI Records, which is a worldwide record label.
Oh yeah.
And they wanted him to come to London to do promotions and PR and the showcases over there. So he asked me to go with him. And by this time, the other guys in the band had peeled off and gone on the road with Jerry and Jeff, who we made a record for too.
Oh yeah.
So it was when I was in London, Michael he had me put up at his wife Diana Bureau, who was incidentally the Beatles' original secretary, and her family lived over there. So he put me up in this flat, and I was there for probably a couple of weeks at a time, and didn't have much to do. Didn't have any money, and it was a cold flat, and and picked up my guitar, and that's when I wrote the London Homesick Blues.
Oh, okay.
And then we
Okay.
came back, and Michael and I did some more duos, and then in August of that year, which we just passed the 50-year anniversary this past weekend of recording of Viva Terlingua,
Hmm.
and that's when Jerry Jeff asked me to sing that song, and we'd never recorded it. Oh, we hadn't even rehearsed it when we first recorded it. So Jerry Jeff asked me to do it, and the crowd went wild, and so after the show, Michael Brofsky, Jerry Jeff's producer, came and said, we want you to come rejoin the guys in the band because we're going to put your performance on this Viva Terlingua record. We want you to come go with us. So that's how I made the transition. It was tough leaving Michael, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to go with that song and
Absolutely.
try to take advantage of that opportunity.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, let's see. You played bass, right? You played bass for Rusty Weir and Michael
I
Martin.
did. I played bass for many years up until that point, and then
Yeah.
Bob Livingston was a bass player, and so I kind of got shifted over, and that's when I picked up and started playing the piano.
Oh, okay. 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 Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because we were talking about the Armadillo song, and Mike, I'm gonna go ahead and play a clip of you were performing this song with your band, and I can't remember what the venue was, but here's a quick clip of Gary P. Nunn, y'all. Here we go.
So you can bet your boots I'm leaving just as fast as I can. I wanna go home with the Armadillo. Good country music from Amarillo and Abilene. Friendliest people and the prettiest women you've ever seen. Well, it's cold over here.
Well, there you have it, Gary P. Nunn, home of the Armadillo. And Gary, if you could just add, I think you were talking about that story earlier before I played the clip. Is there anything else you want to add to that? Where was that? Where was that venue? Where was that show at?
That was my performance at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee,
Okay.
and we had the best players, in town, top players that were the backup band for all the performers that evening. So, well, you know what? Let me take that back. That was a performance that we did when they had the Outlaws and Armadillos exhibit at the Country Music Hall of Fame, and they had a concert where they invited a group of artists, and we came up and got to do one song each, and that was recording from there. And they had all these great players playing with us, and so that's an excellent cut. I hadn't actually heard that cut.
Well, it sounds good when I heard
Turned
it.
up like it was.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it sounded good.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I thought, and I always thought that song is a great song. I still listen to it. So awesome. And what are some people were asking me, I know that was one of your major hits. So what are some of the other songs that were on some of the charts that you did?
Well, the song I did, What I Like About Texas, has been a really, really good song for me. I actually wrote that song for an ad for Lone Star Beer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
And they called me up and asked me to do an ad, and it got so much positive response that I just started recording it and doing it, and it became one of my most popular songs. Of course, Willie's version of Last Thing I Needed, First Thing This Morning, was, of course, the biggest song I ever had. Willie just did a great job with that song, and it's actually risen to be one of his most popular songs nowadays. So I'm real proud of that. And Chris Stapleton recorded it.
Oh, yeah.
a year and a half or so ago, and so I got another boost out of that. That was definitely the biggest song I've ever that's done that well for me.
Okay, and you've gotten some Grammys nominations as well on some of those as well, I guess, huh? I wasn't sure. I was asking because sometimes
Well,
when they climb up into the charts.
right. Well, that went. Willie's version went to number 2.
Okay.
It was the fourth single off of that "Always on My Mind" record.
Oh yeah.
So it's an interesting story. Michael Murphy, I was number 2. I was over in England touring in '83 when that was going on, and we were following the Billboard charts. And Michael Murphy was number 1 with "Wildfire."
Yep.
And
Beautiful song. Beautiful song.
Willie was number 2 with that song, and
Yeah.
my ex-wife Karen Brooks did a duo with oh gosh, I can't call his name, and she was number 3. So there for a short period of time, we were 1, 2, 3. So that was quite a treat to witness all that going down.
Says, well, you've had a very exciting and eventful career, and I bet you're still enjoying it.
Most of it, a lot of it is just hard work.
Yeah.
When back in the Los Gonzo Band departed company with Jerry Jeff at the end of 1976, and then Los Gonzo Band had a record deal with MCA, and then another one with Capitol, but just couldn't get any traction there, and eventually, by the end of 1979, I was the Gonzo Band broke up, and so I basically had to start all over at that point in 1980, and start my own band. And I never had fronted a band, and I was scared to death. And I had a funky little band that didn't have a great deal of experience, but so it was tough. We were driving all the way to Lubbock for $300 a night.
Oh.
For those early years up in the mid '80s,
Right.
it was tough, just to keep body and soul in the band together. And then along about '84 or something like that, fella came in and I did the Austin City Limits performance. Got a tremendous response from that. The fella came in and said, "Why don't we make a record of that?" So that was my second record live at Austin City Limits. And so just little by little, been able to, I liken my career to driving to Santa Fe. You don't realize you're raising yourself in altitude, but after a while, you look around and you're at a higher spot than you were before. Right. So in the last few years, things have really taken off for me. My audience is growing, and record sales are growing, and
Absolutely.
And selling out more houses and able to generate more income. And so it's just been a slow growth period all this time, and up to this point.
Okay.
Just recently was presented with an award, the Texas Songwriters Hall of Fame, which was a great honor. And we did a show down there at the I forget what they call it now. Used to be, it's where they record Austin City Limits.
Oh, the theater.
So
yeah. I can't remember.
So from starting from scratch all over, after I traveled all over the country and in Europe and everything. I just slowly, building up my audience. Handled all my own business, and did all my own publishing, made my own records, and did everything myself, and still do actually. And so most of that was without a booking agent or a manager or anything like that. So just little by little, being tenacious and peace for perseverance, staying with it. I always had another gig to play, so I couldn't
Right.
give it up because I always had another show to do.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to say in the last few years, my profile has been raised a great deal, and so I'm pretty happy with where I am right now compared to where I started.
Well, that's always good to hear, and I'm glad that you're able to just keep going. As I tell people about Murph when I work with him, I swear he's going to perform until he sees his grave, which is probably going to be a very long time from now because he's in very good health. And
Yes.
his voice, oh my gosh, he could still hit those notes. And
I know he hasn't slowed down a bit.
no,
He works 3 times harder than I do.
we did one show together where he was, I think we were doing Geronimo's Cadillac, and he was in front of the kit, and I was thinking to myself, Murph, you're gonna knock out your knee. You're gonna knock out your knee. You shouldn't be jumping around like that. And sure enough, something happened, and he walked
Right.
behind me, and he kind of went, "Ow!" I said, "Uh huh." So, but it wasn't that bad. Everything was fine. But what a joy to work with Murph, and we've had some really fun shows. We did a couple West Fest performances out in Red River, but it's always great to go up there. Again, like you said, the altitude it affects my lungs. I mean, I get to where I have to try and breathe harder just to get used to it. But so one of the things I wanted to mention about Austin City Limits, because I couldn't remember the name of the theater. I'll know it when I see it, because we're supposed to play there this December, and I remember that room being very acoustically sound. I mean, it's made for live music.
Oh, the new theater, the big one
Yeah, the big one.
downtown.
Yep. And I was
Right.
just
Oh, the Moody
mentioning-
Center it's called.
Yes, that's it.
The Moody Theater.
Yeah, and I was just saying that
Yeah.
the acoustics are just phenomenal. It's made for live music. And
For a
plus,
big room, it really does have nice acoustics.
yeah, and my favorite part was going out and spending some time with Willie Nelson, the cutout on the patio. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, I actually have another clip of you. This was a show called the Texas Music Scene, and I believe the host was Ray Benson. And if I remember, is that what city is that place in? Is it here in Texas?
That was in San Marcos.
Okay.
It's a theater. They converted into a music performance hall right there on the square in San Marcos, Texas.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. And here's the clip, guys.
The hinges fell off of the gate. This morning at breakfast, spilled all my coffee. Opened a door on my knee. The last thing I needed, the first thing this morning, was to have you walk out on me.
All right. So there you have it. And Gary, can you tell me a little bit about the story behind that song, what the name of it is, and how it was affiliated with the show Texas Music Scene?
Well, first, I want to mention the idea of that song came from a friend of mine. Her name was Donna Farrar,
Okay.
and she was a co-writer on that. And she walked into my house one day and said, "I had the greatest idea for a song," and she spelled out this title. So we worked together back and forth there for a bit, came up with that song, and my ex-wife, they used to have all these picking parties around here in Austin.
Right.
And people, after the clubs had closed down, because clubs closed down at midnight back in those days in Austin, people would go to the parties and have these picking parties. And my wife was a songwriter too. And when I'd be out of town with Cherry Jeff, she had the opportunity to play that for Willie Nelson. And so it was years later that I saw Willie at Steamboat Springs, a club downtown. He was making that Honeysuckle Rose album, and he brought down Amy Irving and some of the cast down there. And on a break, I walked by him, and he got my attention, come over and said, "Gary P, I really like that song. Last thing I needed. I'd like to do this someday." So, you know, it was 4 or 5 years later that he actually recorded it. But as far as that particular song goes, you know, that show Texas music scene is a very, very high quality production that they do. Of course, Ray Benson hosts it and does a terrific job with it. So they've been very, very successful. But as far as the performance goes, I remember we just did 3 songs on that show, and we did each one of them twice. So I had Tommy Dedamore come in and play steel. He's a great recording studio engineer, as well as being a great steel player. And I had oh gosh, I'm having trouble remembering his name right now. That George Strait's piano player,
Yeah.
and so I've got a couple of extra really, really great backup artists to come flesh out that cut. And we cut it and got a good response from it. And I thought it turned out really good.
So yes, when I saw that video, the footage was good, the audio was great. We did I did a show with Murph a few weeks ago, about a month ago, on the Crow radio show out in Midlothian, Texas. And when we did some of the video for it, there was a lot of shadows and stuff going on. But my point is when I just saw this video, I just noticed how the audio was, the footage of the video. Hats off to the person in charge of all of that production. So, and I know y'all had a great time doing that show.
No, absolutely. Were y'all out at the PBS station in Midland? Is that where y'all recorded that show?
No, it was in Midlothian, Texas, for the Crow radio
okay.
show. Yeah, and I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but all in all, the clip that we just witnessed, I thought it was great. At this point in time, before I wrap it up, I guess a lot of people are asking, you know, what's your schedule like? What's on the roster for your cities of touring, and where are you going to be on the upcoming shows?
Yes. Well, of course, coming up here after Labor Day, we're going to go to the Big Barn Dance in Taos, New Mexico. We'll be there on the 6th of September. We're going to stay over a day or so and just enjoy the area. Mm-hmm. And then on the 8th, we're going over to the Starlight Theater, Starlight Ranch in Amarillo. It's a big outdoor venue there right next to the Big Tex restaurant. And then we're going the next day over to a new room for us. It's called Birdie's Social Club in Fort Worth. We've never been there before, mm-hmm. but they called and they were enthusiastic about having us over there. So it made a nice routing for us from Taos to Amarillo to Fort Worth, and then we're back closer to home. So generally we don't go out that far or stay that long. Actually, we're doing fewer dates now, but they're more high quality dates. And you know, I used to take all the bar dances and everything that came my way, but I found it's better for everybody to just be more selective, take the better gigs, and
right.
It seems to work out better that way. And then let me look at I'm just scanning my calendar here.
Okay.
I'm doing a fundraiser in Lampasas, Texas, on the 16th of September. there's a museum over there, and they called us, and they're having a fundraiser. So we do a lot of fundraising shows. And then we're doing the Bernie Beer Fest on September 23rd. Let's see. And then we're going to Canadian, Texas on September 30th. And that's going to be quite well, it's a fundraiser for, Perryton had that very devastating tornado.
Yeah.
So it's a fundraiser to raise money for the Perryton tornado folks.
Well, I'm glad to see there's another fundraiser on that, because we just did one with Murph a few weeks back as well, and it was a great turnout. So I'm glad they're going to do that again.
But anyway, and we have several private events coming up. We're going to be at the Stone Cellar at Round Rock. They've taken over new management. Grady Spears, who is a well-known restaurateur in Fort Worth, you probably know him.
Yeah.
He's acquired a new room. We worked it before, but he's taken it over down there Round Top, and that's of course, it's people there in that area. A lot of them have second homes, or wealthy people have second homes out there in that area. And of course, they have that big antique fairs out there. It's like the antique center of Texas. And so they're going to have us out there on the 21st of October, have a private show on the 20th. There's a nice listening room. You've probably been there. Main Street Crossing in Tomball, Texas, on the 18th of October.
Yeah.
So, and then some private shows, but we're staying busy, and it's at my age and everything, it's enough for me.
Right.
But they're all first class shows.
Absolutely. No, you're young. You got a lot of years ahead of you. You're a rockin' and roller and good country singer and good everything.
Yeah, I'm healthy, and I feel good, and I've got the best band I've ever had.
Absolutely.
And it's just a pleasure to travel with them and play with them, and they're all really, really fine, upstanding citizens and family men, and reliable and trustworthy, and just good. They don't have any bad habits, and so it's just a pleasure to go out and play, and especially all the comments, UP is the best band you've ever had, and you guys sounds the best I've ever heard, the best concert I've ever seen, just all kinds of response like that. So that just keeps you coming back for more when you get that kind of response from the audience.
Absolutely, and the audience is really what feeds it, and I see the same thing when we're doing shows with Murph. There was one time, just kind of off the cuff, he didn't have a piano player for one of the Christmas tours we did, and I said, well, just set up a piano to the side of the drums, and I went ahead and did the Wildfire intro and outro, and I thought that was a lot of fun, because I'm also a keyboard player since I'm a songwriter as well, but I thought that was so fun to do. And I kind of joked.
I've been
around.
trying for years to figure out how that goes.
I know, right? I think it's arpeggiated patterns repeating each other, and I can't remember the composer. Murph had told me that the composer. I can't remember the name of the composer. So anybody in the audience.
What was that fella?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I would say Jack Murphy, a fabulous piano player, who was working with Michael when he did that. Was it Blue Sky Night Thunder record?
Sounds familiar.
Where Wildfire appeared on.
Yeah. I think so.
And, he was a fabulous piano player. I remember I was with Michael Murphy, and Jack Murphy was playing in a jazz trio in some little jazz club in Dallas, and we went by and saw him. And of course, later on, after I had departed, and when Michael moved to Colorado, he picked up Jack Murphy to go with him. He made a tremendous. What was that song? It had all the banjo on it, and and Jack Murphy played all those arpeggios.
Carolina in the Pine.
Carolina in the Pines.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
just it takes an awesome piano player to be able to knock out that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's
Anyway.
yeah, that's a fun song to do too. I mean, I love working with Murph, and it's like it's not work, it's fun, and it's like I really get paid to do this.
Right.
So,
Well, from the track I heard on the intro there, you're an awesome drummer. I'm looking forward to meeting you up in Taos.
yeah, I love the plan on that. And again, a lot of the theme bumper, I wrote that, and I have a wonderful guitar player who you heard on the solo, a jazz fusion player who works with me at the school
Oh,
that I
yeah.
work at. So my wife and I
He
run
is an awesome
a
player.
school. Oh yeah, we run a school together, and sometimes with as many students as I have, my brain gets to be mushy. So, but there's nothing like coming into my studio and writing. I have a lot of songs. I've done a lot of recording through here. I did one track with Michael Hearn where I did a remote drum track, sent it back to Michael Hearn off one of his latest records. And I'm trying to bug Murph and allow me to maybe do some stuff for some of his upcoming records, but you know, it's all good.
Well, I'm a little bit jealous of you because, you know, really, if I had my brothers, you know, I would spend all my time in the studio.
Oh yeah, this
But,
is yeah.
you
This
know,
is
when you're
kind
booking
of,
these gigs and you got a band, you got to
Oh,
stay
I
on the
know.
road.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but anyway, this is kind of off the cuff here, but this is kind of where I do all my work.
Yeah, you got a heck of a trap there.
It looks like you guys are staying busy now. I met a person that you and I both know. Well, you know more than I do, but I did have a great conversation with him, and that's your manager, D. Foster. Is he keeping you busy then?
Yes, yes, yes. He's taking on another project. They bought the 11th Street Bar. Did you play that show with Michael when he was down there
Over in
in Bandera?
yes, I was. I was on that show. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that's keeping him busy. So he's a very busy boy.
Oh yeah. Well, Bandera is a great place. I didn't want to leave. It was so laid back.
Right.
Well,
It is the cowboy capital of Texas.
yeah, it is. Well, Gary, I want to just
They're
say,
trying to get Fort Worth to run for their money.
right? Absolutely. Well, Gary, I just want to say it was an honor to have you on the show today. And if there's not any last minute things you want to tell our audience, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Well, I just want to say I'm grateful to each and every one of my fans. That they've been so many of them have been loyal for so many years, and they continue to be. And for the new ones that have come on board, you know, I have so many people come up and say, you know, I've been a fan of yours for 30 years, but I've never seen you.
Oh,
So I want to invite you all to say, you know, put Gary Peanut on your bucket list and come see me. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this, but I'm feeling good right now and I'm enjoying what I'm doing and have a great band. And so I just so grateful, thankful. You can, you know, of course, all my tunes are up there on iTunes, and that's the way people are acquiring music these days. And so I'm just grateful and thankful at this point in my life that I feel pretty good about the things I've done. I've been received a lot of accolades that you know that I'm very humble and proud of, and just thankful that you know that my career has you know sort of made my mark on the Texas world to some extent, and I'm very grateful and thankful for that.
it definitely has. Yes, absolutely. And it's such a great honor to have you on the show. And like I said, I'll be coming into Taos around the 8th, around the 7th, actually. So I'll look you up.
All right, we look forward to it, and I enjoyed spending time with you.
All right.
And apologize for my hearing problems, but
Oh, no, that's
you know,
okay.
we're doing this on the phone, and I can't turn up the volume.
No, it's all good. So anyway, Gary, great having you with us today, and just to let everybody know, I will be posting some more podcasts in the near future. We have a lot of great guests lined up, and I'll update everybody as we put the word out. And y'all have a great rest of your week or evening, shall I say. Take care. All right.